What's up, guys? My name's Zach. I'm the host for Beyond Rock Bottom podcast.
I'm Scout. I'm the host of the What Otter podcast. Uh, this is our first official collab.
Yeah, so we're just gonna talk about random shit and dive into it.
You first.
No, but we were talking about it earlier when we were reading more about alcoholism and basically just I was telling my story about how like obviously like I have struggled for years with drugs, um, but I never wanted to admit that I was an alcoholic, especially just being so young. I was like, I couldn't get the idea in my head, like I couldn't wrap around the idea that I was an alcoholic at like 21. I remember turning 21 in a sober living. I was at that sober living for meth and fentanyl, and I ultimately went back out because I wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't an alcoholic. I was just a drug addict, and for the past like 4 or 5 years, I've been trying to like prove to myself that I'm not an alcoholic. I really just wanted to like be part of um be part of like the college scene, just be like a normal 20 something year old that goes out to the bars and has a good time and then shows up for work like a normal person,
But
and
but what is normal?
I I don't know, but I know that what I was doing was not fucking normal. That was not normal. ODing and getting arrested and all that shit, that's not normal. Um, but I continued to try to prove that I could be normal by making these various attempts to just drink alcohol, to just smoke weed. And it would start off that way, and for some reason, I always end up with drugs. And it happened quick, especially with alcohol. I Because I think my inhibitions get lowered when I
Mm-hmm.
drink alcohol,
Yeah.
and like before I drink, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do drugs. I'm never
Mm-hmm.
gonna do drugs
Yeah.
again. But then I get a few beers in me, and I'm feeling good, and like
You get confident. You get cocky.
I think cocky, like too confident, because like it always plays out the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like my DOCs are methamphetamine, but I the relapses always played out the same way, right? I'd make this attempt to like drink alcohol and just be normal, and then I'd start abusing the alcohol. I'm fucking not a nice drunk either. Like I talk a lot of shit and like get into a lot of
Do you have videos of
issues.
that?
Yeah. But so I would be an asshole while I'm drunk for a few weeks or whatever, and then I'd be like, you know what? I could do some coke, like
It wouldn't
coke or
hurt.
Adderall. Like it's not meth, and like coke's a little bit more like socially acceptable. Like there's normal people that do coke every once in a
Especially where you're
while.
from.
Yeah, true
It's normal.
that. And so I do a little bit of coke, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is a waste of money. Like, why the fuck am I spending all this money on something I can get? Like, meth. Meth
Mm-hmm.
is gonna get me to where I want to be, and it costs a lot less. And if I just snort it's really not as bad, If I snort it, if I eat it, like as long as I don't smoke it or shoot it up, like I'm really doing.
Could be
I'm
worse.
because like there's functional meth addicts, not, I'm being sarcastic as fuck, like for like
I was about to
like
say.
nobody goes and socially does methamphetamine, like that's just not a thing.
Unless you're at a meth party.
Yeah, but in my brain, I really wanted it to be a thing, because when I did drugs like fentanyl and meth, I really like, they talk about like I have arrived in the program. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really for once felt so okay in my skin, and like especially with meth, like I could talk to people, I could go to work for a good amount of time and show up and work harder, and things were better for a little bit, and then it just started to take such a toll on my body and my mind that I would burn it all to the ground. And So I've had to accept the fact that I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. And one thing I did realize through the steps is that um, there's really no difference. Like drugs, alcohol, everything, all of it is a drug. And the problem is not the substance; it was my behavior and how I deal with problems.
Mhm.
And I was going to continue to relapse and fuck up until I came to terms with that. And realizing that, I think it ultimately has saved my life and is why I'm here today, clean and sober. Like, what, 4 days away from 6 months.
Yay.
So that's all I got today. Thanks.
Oh, now it's my turn. Oh God. Um, dr- as far as drinking and drugs, I'd say weed and alcohol were my DOCs. I used to drink until like I just couldn't function anymore. I tried to be a functioning alcoholic. That's not a thing for me. No, no, I just drink until I fall asleep and then drink again, and it's yeah, no, I would waste a lot of money doing that. Um, but I think one thing that really helped me with sobriety and keeping my sobriety is learning about it, as far as like the biological, the psychological, and the behavioral aspects of addiction. Because I learned like, so let's say you're trying to quit nicotine. Well, so there's the biological, which is the tissue. So like the nicotine going in your system and all that stuff, and so your body's trying to detox from it. You get withdrawals and all that other stuff. Same thing as going through any kind of like trying to go off any drug, right? And then there's the psychological of, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want this. It's the craving. And then there's the behavioral. You wake up in the
Mm-hmm.
morning, you hate your vape. You're chilling, you're bored, you hate your vape. You do
True.
this, you want to hate your vape. So it's the behavioral of you always want to do that. And it's the same thing with any other addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not just drugs and alcohol. But learning about that really helped me come to terms with mine because, like, I knew I was an alcoholic. I knew I was an addict. I knew I had addictive personalities, but it was hard to accept it. And even going to the rooms, like, I'm almost 7 months. I'm 2 days away from, actually, I'm 210 days today. So
Hell yeah.
technically, I am 7 months.
Congrats.
Thank you. But it's still difficult to process and like truly accept the fact that like it's different to say I'm sober instead of oh yeah I'm an addict. It it has a different label,
It
especially
does.
especially with how society
It
looks
really
at it.
does.
And I think that's what's hard for me to accept with myself, because like me telling my friends yeah I'm sober, and like my friends in college, it's like yeah no I'm sober, it's fine, or yeah I'm an addict. And I always have the same tone. It's always the same tone for both. But I get looked at completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I say I'm an addict, they're like, oh, they automatically think like I'm a junkie crackhead.
Yeah.
Instead of, no, I'm a 22-year-old who couldn't really handle her booze properly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's looked at differently,
Mm-hmm.
which is,
Like, regardless of the choice.
yeah, like the behavior, the drugs aren't the problem. Like we're the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
The drugs and alcohol are the solution to the problem we're having. And
It's an unhealthy coping mechanism.
but you say you're an alcoholic or a recovering alcoholic. Alcohol is a lot more socially acceptable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Which, even when you say that you're a former alcoholic and you're like trying to stay sober, they still push that on you.
mhm. But and yeah, true that. But when you say addict, I get what you mean. Like people automatically be like,
Oh
"Oh, he
my
does
god, are you
heroin."
gonna steal? Are you gonna steal my stuff?
Yeah, right.
That's literally
I yeah,
the stigmatism of addiction and alcoholism is insane.
yeah, it's messed up, dude. And like it really plays such a big role in why a lot of people don't reach out for help. And
Hmm.
um because you feel like when expect like okay, maybe there is a different um idea that comes with alcoholic and addict, but regardless, like if somebody is like an addict, it like I've been in places where I felt like I'm the only one, and like the only thing I have is the drugs because everybody else thinks I'm just like some loser.
Mm-hmm.
And I never felt comfortable of reaching out and asking for help. Like I literally had to, like every time I've ever attempted to get help, it was coming back off overdose. And that still wasn't enough to keep me clean. Like
That wasn't the spiritual experience you needed.
no, there for years and years I wanted to die every single day, and I would wish I would not wake up the next day or whenever I fell asleep. And I always woke up and I was kind of like it sucked because my life sucked on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And it got so bad this last time that I attempted to take my life. Like I really did try to kill myself, and I thought about killing myself all the time. But I think it takes a different type of darkness, a different type of bottom. Like
That's a new rock bottom.
yeah,
Put
like
intended.
exactly. And it's just so crazy. Like I know that I have more of a purpose here just because of my past. Literally, my past consists of basically a bunch of miracles. I've
No,
overdosed more times than I can count, and there's always been somebody there to help, somebody to call for an ambulance and
your
get me
wife's a saint.
Narcan, and like, or like I crashed a truck, and some paramedic that I was just doing work for like a week prior to that just happened to be behind me on the freeway and was the one that called for help. I attempt to kill myself and I didn't succeed.
So what I'm hearing is your higher power is really trying to look out for you.
Yeah, but I mean it's just like I know like I'm supposed to be in this field, like I'm supposed to be helping other people that struggle with this because I wouldn't have been kept alive for this long.
Mm. Was it
It,
just for you? Yeah.
no, it wasn't. And I don't know. I'm realizing that now, and I'm blanked right now. But I had something to say, but I totally forgot.
It'll
Like,
come back eventually.
um,
It's okay. No, I mean that really does make sense. Like I went through my trials and turmoils and stuff, and it was hell for me. My entire childhood and like my early adulthood, even though I'm only 22, it was still hell. So
and okay, that you saying 22 brought it to my mind. Like, it is hard to get sober at
mm-hmm.
any time in your life. It is hard to, like, I'm not saying
It's never easy.
it is a different type of hard when you're in your early 20s and teens or you're young
Well,
and
the
you're
party
trying,
lifestyle is there. Like everybody expects you to
right?
drink. They expect you to do the stupid shit.
And like I think, like, I mean, at least for me, right, my entire childhood, how I grew up, the music I listened to, the people I hung around, like everything glorified and glamorized this life that ultimately almost killed me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and still has the potential to kill me every day if I decide to go back out.
Mm-hmm.
um and it's you're going against what society,
Instilled in you.
yeah, and what is like
Expect.
I hear like they're probably like normal people, but I hear people that I'm at work or wherever, like they talk about like going out and partying and like or like they heard this song and they're singing along to this song that's talking about like all this shit, and it sounds like some gangster ass shit when you're singing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in that shit,
When you're living it,
nah, man. Like people talk about going to jail and shit. I promise you, jail is not fun. I don't want to survive in that.
I don't want to be in it. So let's just prevent it in general.
Like,
That's how I feel.
but yeah, should probably get in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a good first little mini episode.
Yeah,
Hopefully, more to come after the summer's over.
yeah.
So, thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, subscribe. Look at my links. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.